and welcome to the Hanferd Files. This story is particularly creepy, and I hope you enjoy it. This happened in the late 80s when I was a college student, and I'm female. I went to Georgia Tech, which is located in the middle of Atlanta. Do keep in mind that this is before cell phones. One weekend I went to a bar not too far from campus with a few girls I knew, but not particularly good friends. A fun time was had by all, and I eventually drifted away from the girls I'd come with after a scene with some other people I knew. After a bit, I was good and drunk. I ended up talking to some guy I knew a little who kept trying to get me to go with him. I brushed him off, saying I wasn't feeling too great, and he offered to drive me back to my dorm. I declined, saying I had a ride. I then decided that maybe I actually wasn't feeling too great, and also it was really late. So I went in search of the girls I had arrived with. They were nowhere to be found, and I didn't really blame them for ditching me since I left them earlier. I thought about going back and asking the guy I knew for a ride, but I didn't like him too well and didn't want him to get the wrong idea. At this point, there wasn't anything else I knew at the bar, so I reluctantly decided to walk back. It was about a 30-minute walk to my dorm, and the bar wasn't the best part of Atlanta. There were some bad areas right near campus, but it wasn't a terrible part of the city either. Plus, I was drunk, and definitely not using my best judgment. I headed out and was pretty nervous. I finally got to the edge of the campus and felt very relieved. My dorm room was on the other side of the campus, but I was out of the big, bad city part of my trek home. Then I saw a big, dark SUV cruise up slowly towards me. It stopped right next to me, and a guy jumped out. I was terrified and looked around to see if there was any way to get help if he tried to abduct me or something. He held his hands up towards me and said, "Don't worry, I'm a cop. I was just concerned when I saw you walking alone because it could be dangerous." "Oh, thanks," I replied. "I'm fine, just walking back to my dorm." It was pretty dark, but from what I could see, he was a tall, fit man of about 30. He didn't look to me like the sort of creep who would kidnap college girls. Yes, I was stupid. Of course, he offered me a ride once more, and honestly, I thought about accepting because it was late and I was tired and drunk. I just wanted to be back in my room. But apparently, common sense won out, and I declined once again. At this point, he got more insistent and talked about how he understood why it's generally a bad idea to accept a ride from strangers. But he was a cop and was genuinely worried about my safety. Well, he got more insistent, and I got more firm in saying no, and he began to sound more and more angry, which was quite distressing. By the end of this, he was pretty angry and jumped back into his car saying, "Fine, but you're going to regret it if anything happens to you." And then he drove off. Needless to say, my heart was pounding in my chest the rest of the walk, and I've never been so happy to get back to my dorm room. I doubt you were a real cop or had entirely good intentions, but whoever you were, you smelled like applesauce and feet. That was a good story. Now, I do understand with this woman because that guy seems like a creep. That guy seems like the kind of guy that would abduct women, take them to a park, rape and mutilate their corpse. So, she did really good in this one. Mostly the women in these stories that I read are complete mongoloids. But this woman did the right thing. So, kudos to you. I hope you enjoyed this Hanford Files story. There'll be more in the future to come if the government doesn't assassinate me because I live off of Obama's money. Well, see you guys next time.